and begin this evening, and Miss Menard asked me, as though you don't already know, to introduce everyone here at the head table. So we'll just run through these really quickly. Over here to my left, we have Romaine Holman, who is boys athletic director as well as golf coach. Then Mrs. Uding, Jackie Uding, who is the cheerleader sponsor. Brad Stoll, the assistant girls basketball coach. Miss Menard, our principal. Then we have Jarrett Uding, an assistant track coach. I'm not sure who this guy is here that's missing the pink tie that he was supposed to wear this evening. Coach Jake Martin, the boys track coach. Mr. Palmer, Mr. Will Palmer, who is the assistant football coach. And over to my left, starting from the far side, Miss Kelly Schweigert, assistant volleyball coach. Miss Michelle Bosler, also an assistant volleyball coach. Mr. Judd Nagger, the head baseball coach and head football coach. Mr. Dusty Wingert, the head boys basketball coach, and his assistant, Mr. PJ Reynolds, that's right. And then finally we have Mr. Marty Weiler, the girls basketball coach. We're going to begin this evening with some volleyball, and for the sake of the folks that are having to come in later to set up for our wedding, we're going to try to move things along a little bit this evening, but at the same time we want to make sure that we do honor our athletes and their accomplishments. And so I'm going to start off here by doing it a little bit backwards from the way we usually do it, and I'm going to go ahead and have the award winners come up here, our JV and varsity letter winners, and then we'll talk just a little bit about them to begin, or after we've gotten these people up here. And first of all, I would like to thank both Kelly and Michelle. They did a great job this year with our freshmen and our JV teams, and that helps us out tremendously, the fact that we can compete at all three levels. We'll start with some JV letter winners. If you'd please come forward. We have Caitlin Bader, Taylor Beat, and if you'll hold your applause to the end, Rachel Bruns, Randy Keene, Erica Giesler, and Lindsay Marshall. And part of earning a volleyball letter, whether it be JV or varsity or even being a manager, is doing a certain amount of service, and it's up to the students to document that service and turn it in order to earn that letter. We also have two managers that earned varsity letters this year, and they are Stephanie Holland and Tony Grass. And now for our varsity letter winners, Abby Berthel, Hannah Kenzel, and Hannah was an all-district player for us this year, Kelsey Apt, Megan Bosler, Natalie Fowler. Natalie Fowler was also an all-district player for us, Kelly Herman, who was all-conference, Brittany Klump, Kelsey Meyer, Megan Ritter, Rachel Nagger, Morgan Schweigert, and Emily Weiler. Now, I thought it might, for the sake of time, be wise to kind of talk about our season a little bit when we talked about the special awards. So one of the things that has happened in volleyball over the years is it has evolved as a sport into being a little bit more than just what goes on interscholastically or what goes on during the school year. Years ago, if you had players and they came to two weeks of volleyball camp in the summer and then they worked hard from mid-August to the end of October, you could put together a pretty good team and the individuals could get pretty good in terms of their individual skills. But anymore, if you're not playing year-round and playing in USA Volleyball and you're not doing open gyms, your kids are at a very competitive disadvantage. And so one of the things we did this spring, since we had not one of our more stellar seasons this past fall, was to have open gyms on 17 Sundays for 2 hours each, so a total of 34 hours. And there, of course, as you can imagine, there was quite a variance in the amount of attendance we had. But I'd like to give our first award this evening as our best attendance for spring open gyms, and this goes to Caitlin Bader. The next next award is our Most Improved Volleyball Player Award, and by nature this is a difficult award to give simply because it's difficult to compare the different skills that are required. It's hard to compare a hitter to a setter, and obviously if the setter doesn't set well, the hitters can't hit well, and obviously a setter can't get credit for any kind of assists if the hitter aren't putting down the kills. But in this case, we did go ahead and we do have a Most Improved Volleyball Player, and our Most Improved Volleyball Player this year is Abby Berthold. Our next award is our Outstanding Effort Award. It could easily be argued that anyone who shows up to every practice and every game is working hard, but we know that, say for example in school, we have students that show up every day to school, and we know that they don't all work equally hard in school, and the same would be true for volleyball practice or football practice or baseball or basketball practice or anything. The winner of this year's Outstanding Effort Award not only demonstrates a phenomenal work ethic in volleyball, but also in the classroom. Our Outstanding Effort Award in volleyball this year goes to Miss Hannah Kenzel. And finally, our last award is our Team Player Award. And just as the name implies, this goes to an individual who's much more concerned about team success than individual success. She recognizes that if she gets 3 aces in a match, it's of very little consequence if the team plays poorly overall. This is someone who understands that defense is difficult, but it's the key to our success as a team. The winner of this Team Player Award didn't excel in any one statistical category this year, but she contributed to our success in all of the categories. The Team Player Award this year goes to Miss Kelly Herman. And next up, we'll have Coach Nagger and his football awards.
Okay, thank you. I have a bunch of thank yous here real quick before we get started. Athletic Club and especially Dan Herman and Neil Wiener for their work at the football field. The Wednesday night crew for getting the field ready every week. Bill Lurk and everyone else who do all the things behind the scenes to make things work for Valley football. Tom Raymer for taking the time every Saturday morning just to talk some football with me. Shannon Bloom and Mid-America Rehab, Coach Pace for the Thursday prayer, Frank Kurtzmer for his coverage throughout the season, my announcer Harry Davis, Brad Stoll for running the scoreboard, my spotters Steve Beezer, Kevin Weiler, and Jody Stoll, and my stats guys Jason Bosler and Chad Scher. Also like to take this time to thank my assistant coaches. Coach Palmer did a very good job with the JV and the freshmen. Coach Martin for his work with the offensive and defensive lines, as well as calling the defense, and Coach Trimmer for his time in the weight room. Most of all for the parents that do such a wonderful job raising these young men. A real quick look back at the 2007 season. We were in every ball game the entire season. 95% of the downs that we played this year meant something. We held opponents to 14.9 points a game. We outgained our opponents by 600 yards in the season. We rushed for just under 2,000 yards, passed for just under 1,000, and rarely gave up the big play. We stuck together as a team. We never once pointed any fingers at each other, and we bought into the system and believed in our teammates. The 2007 JV letter winners are the following. Freshman Zach Weiler, hold your paws, Luke Uding, Nolan Ritter, Garrett Cook, Michael Loida, Alex Stoll, Cory Dunsey, Nolan Carroll, Christopher Bowman, Wade Roth, Casey Klump, Adam Werner, Dylan Kist, Corey Cabral, Garrett Gatzmeyer, Andrew Bader, Brett Shue, Nick Joggerst, Andy Nagger, Michael Haynes, and Jacob Grass. These guys had a wonderful season and finished 5-1. My sophomore JV letter winners were Connor Jeremy Apps, Christian Moulton, Jonathan Herman, Daniel Bowman, Stephen Ringwald, Davis Grigaitis, Ryan Jokerst, Daniel Cabral, Nick Brown, and Derek Kohler. These guys finished 5-3 and improved immensely from week 1 to week 8. My varsity letter winners are freshman Danny Roth, sophomores Michael Greminger, who made second team all-conference quarterback, honorable mention quarterback, and second team SEMO coaches quarterback. Nathan Guile, second team SEMO coaches running back. Jason Bloom. Aaron Bosler, who was first team all-region punter. Second team SEMO coaches punter. Nick Zerwig. Brandon Lawmadier, second team SEMO coaches center. Derick Fowler, Anthony Meyer, second team all-conference D-line. Brian Kurtz. My juniors, Joshua Neal, Zach Ferguson, Mark Arnold, Garrett Kurtz, honorable mention all-region running back. Brandon Wolk, Cole Beezer, second team all-conference D-back, first team SEMO coaches D-back, and Stephen Bowman. My seniors, Robert Nagger, honorable mention all-conference D-back, second team SEMO coaches D-back. Jake Roth, first team all-conference guard, first team all-conference DN, honorable mention all-region O-line, first team SEMO guard, and first team SEMO DN. Joseph Roth, Jeremy Meyer, Michael Raymer, second team all-conference tackle, second team all-conference linebacker, first team all-conference kicker, first team all-regional line, second team SEMO tackle, and second team SEMO linebacker. Seems like they got more of these teams than they used to have. Casey Kohler, second team all-conference wide receiver, second team SEMO coaches wide receiver. Zach Uding, honorable mention all-conference guard, first team all-conference linebacker, first team all-region linebacker, first team SEMO coaches linebacker, co-defensive player of the year, SEMO coaches, first team all-state. By the coaches linebacker, first team all-state medium linebacker, and KTJJ Dream Team. And Ryan Roth, second team all-conference linebacker, first team all-conference special teams, honorable mention all-region, and second team SEMO special teams. I have 4 individual awards to hand out this evening. The first one is Outstanding Lineman. This individual battled injuries all season and was the rock on our offensive and defensive lines, Mr. Jake Roth. My second award, Defensive Player of the Year. This individual became a true student of the game. He worked hard, and his knowledge and passion for the game helped him to become a great inside linebacker. Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Raymer. Warrior Award, our 110% award. This individual did all the little things for us last year to help us win games. He put himself in the record book with 6 blocked extra points. Warrior Award goes to Ryan Roth. And the 2007 MVP, hate to see this individual graduate. He is a true football player in every sense of the word. He played with passion and heart every down of his career. He has put himself number 2 and 3 all-time at Valle High School for tackles, Zach Uding. A special thank you to the seniors. You 8 individuals were true warriors. You showed a true love of the game and were able to set a good example of how the game is meant to be played. You became students of the game, and we were a smarter team than we have been in the past. The coaching staff and the rest of this team owes you a thank you. I am very proud of all of you. Your impact on Valle football will be felt in the years to come. Your example will lead to success down the road, and remember, you will always be a Valle warrior. Thank you.
introduction, Coach Nagger.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know who was next. I didn't have a program. Oh, I didn't know.
I see how you are.
I apologize.
Accepted. I'm standing in for Mrs. Boyer, who couldn't be here tonight. Her grandson is graduating preschool, and as a grandma, she had to be there. Mrs. Boyer generously volunteered to take over cheerleading when nobody else would do it 3 years ago. And ever since that time, it's been a rebuilding program, little by little, and it can only get better and better with the support of the teams and the families, and we're there for the teams and the families. Beginning next year, Ashley Grass, who's a former Valle student, former Valle cheerleader, she teaches cheerleading and gymnastics out in the Lead Belt, is going to be taking over as the head coach. Mrs. Boyer and I will remain there to assist her, but she's really the expert, and she's really the one that's going to bring cheerleading back around to where it used to be. And so we have some awards for our dedicated cheerleaders. First off is a freshman, Jillian Ditch, who's not here. Katie Gettinger, who's not here. Our juniors, we've got 2 juniors who are the most dedicated cheerleaders you'll ever find, Jessica Meyer and Casey Henderson. And don't let anybody kid you, cheerleading is a sport. They run, they lift weights, they work out, and Ashley is really putting them through the grinder. And it's, we've already had one open practice, and they were sore the next morning because I heard about it. We also want to give an award to our senior cheerleader who joined 2 years ago, who's been a real leader for us. Real dedicated, made us laugh when we needed to laugh, and we were great to have her, and that's Marissa Kohler. And next on the list is girls basketball.
Thanks, Mr. Shooting. First thing I'd like to do tonight is, before I forget, is thank my wife, Sandy, for letting me do this job that I love so much. Listen, all those ahs and oohs or whatever, one day you all know what I'm talking about. But I thank her very much. She makes the sacrifices so I can do what I like to do, so thank you very much. I'm sure Brad would say the same about Janice. So thank to those 2 ladies. Coach Fisher, thank you for all the work you do at the scoreboard and everything every night at the home games. Appreciate that very much. To my able-bodied assistant to my left here, Brad, he does a great job with the JV year in, year out. Keeps all the energy with the JV girls and makes them stay on that end of the court, so that I really appreciate that very much. I'm going to take a page out of Coach Fisher's book here. I'm going to introduce JV and the varsity up here together first, and then I'll hand out a couple of awards, and I will talk a little bit about the season. JV this year was 17-8, had another great year. Freshmen on the team, no particular order, Lindsay Marshall, Haley Reynolds, Chelsea Sproul, Kelly Brown, Kirsten Woke, Erica Giesler. Girls, all come up, please. Sophomores, Leanne Marquardt, Kara Figge, Shelby Pretty, Lindsay Manshak, Ashley Palmer, and Taylor Biat. the varsity players this year, the baby on the team, sophomore Hannah Kenzel. The juniors, Megan Bosler, Megan Ritter. Megan Ritter received second team all-conference from the coaches this year. Natalie Fowler, Kelsey App, and Kelly Hermer are the juniors. And our three seniors, Morgan Schweigert, Marissa Kohler, and Rachel Nagger. Marissa and Rachel were also chosen to play in the Senior All-Star Game, selected by the Daily Journal and the media from out in the Park Hills, so congratulations to them on that. Good. Y'all done cackling? Okay. There's an old saying that you learn a lot about yourself and each other when you lose more than when you win. Well, to say enough, the girls and I know each other very well this year. It was a trying season at times, but to their credit and their perseverance, they did a wonderful job. Not a day went by where they didn't come in and they practiced hard on the court. They left it on the court. The last game of the year, you know, in our district, we got our butts handed to us in a lunch basket pretty good, and went to the locker room, and I don't think, you know, it's a long season. Basketball's a long season. I don't think one person in that room wanted to quit that night, so I appreciate that, girls, more than you'll ever know. You bring to practice every day a sense of hard work, and I appreciate that more than you ever know. And just whatever kind of season we had, I'm here to say right now I'm very proud to be your coach this year. So my hat's off to you girls for that. I have two awards this year. The first award goes to our most improved player. This goes out to a young lady that falls on the floor a lot. She gets after it a lot. She wears knee pads in basketball. Not too many people wear knee pads in basketball, but if that's what she wants to do, that's fine. Always plays with a little snarl on her face. I kind of like that. But she's out there giving 100% every game, every practice. And not the biggest girl on the court, but she's certainly got probably one of the biggest hearts. The most improved player of the year goes to Lindsay Manshak. And the final award of the year is the Defensive Player of the Year. We give this out every year. Again, just like every coach believes, defense wins championships, and I'm no different. This year we asked a young lady to guard most of the good players in the conference. Every game it was her assignment to try to hold them the best she could. For the most part, she did that job pretty well. She got in trouble a little bit when her discipline would vary a little bit, but she's going to work on that for next year. But she did a great job. 80% of the time, looking back in the book this afternoon, 80% of the time, she held her opponent under their average score, or excuse me, their season average for the year. So she did a good job in that, and probably will be asked to do that again this coming year. So the Defensive Player of the Year goes out to Natalie Fowler. Girls, thank you very much. Seniors, Marissa, Rachel, Morgan, thank you very much. Been a great 4 years. If you ever need anything, you got my number. Good luck to you in the future. The rest of you girls, weight room tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Coach Wingert, you're up.
We'll start out with our letter winners as well. Jacob Grass, JV basketball. Garrett Cook, varsity basketball. Michael Loida, varsity basketball. Alex Stoll, JV basketball. Jeremy Apps, JV basketball. Kellen Bader, JV basketball. Aaron Bosler, JV basketball. Michael Grimminger, JV basketball. Brian Kurtz, varsity basketball. Derek Kohler, JV basketball. Christian Moulton, JV basketball. Jared Troutman, JV basketball. Stephen Bowman, varsity basketball. Adam Oberle, varsity basketball. First team, unanimous, all-conference varsity basketball, Michael Rozier. Casey Kohler, varsity basketball. Senior All-Star Game recipient, Ryan Roth, varsity basketball. And Nolan Weiler, varsity basketball. About 11 months ago, I got a call from Miss Menard about 9 o'clock in the morning as she woke me up on that summer day, and her words out of her mouth were, "Congratulations, Coach Wingert. Without doing anything, you've been promoted to the varsity boys basketball coach." And I think my reaction was, huh? But thank you, Miss Menard, for the confidence or the lack of time in filling the spot to give me the job. But get my thank yous out of the way. Thank you to Miss Holman, Coach Fisher for the ongoing support at school, Coach Weiler. They always told me, just don't tell Marty you're from St. Vincent's and you'll get along with him just fine. Well, he knows where I'm from, and we still get along pretty good. I need a big thanks to Coach Weiler for, he is the all-time winningest boys basketball coach, and percentage-wise, he's 1-0. He had to coach for me one night with the illness of my father, and I thank you greatly for that. Also, I want to thank all the ongoing support, the guys showing up at the funeral home, the girls showing up at the funeral home, parents, cards, everything. When I dealt with that, that really let me know I made the right choice in coming to Valle, and I appreciate it greatly. Varsity-wise, we finished 9-16, 6-4 in the conference, consolation champs in the conference tournament, and we definitely ended the season with a different attitude on the floor. We gave a lot of team headaches for 3.5 quarters. It just seemed like we kind of went brain dead for about 4 or 5 minutes in some of those games. We dove for balls on the floor, hustled for loose balls going out of bounds. Heck, we even had a streak of 3 games where we received 4 technical fouls. But it was a good thing, and Miss Menard, when she sent me that email saying you didn't deserve yours, Coach, it meant a lot too. So, but on a serious note, I'm really looking forward to the future of this program. I promised the freshmen that I would be here for their 4 years. I'm gonna keep that promise. And with us moving into a new district next year, or that's the word, I really think we can compete for that district championship already. Now to my awards. I have 5 awards. First one would be the JV Mr. Hustle Award. This young man came to practice, smile on his face every day. First one to sweat. First one never to complain. Wasn't sure if he wanted to play basketball or not. Glad he did. I think he's got a great future for us. And our JV Mr. Hustle goes to Alex Stoll. Our varsity Mr. Hustle, I don't think it'd be any surprise. He scored most of his points on hustle. He's probably the littlest post player in the conference. Did a great job for us and a great senior that we'll miss next year with the hustle. Mr. Hustle Award for our varsity is Ryan Roth. Next award is our Sixth Man Award. It's the unsung hero. Doesn't get a lot of the glory. Understands his role, come off the bench, give our guards a break when needed. When he's on, he's on. He's a great outside shooter. I'm glad he came out this year. Another senior will sadly be missed, and our Sixth Man Award goes to Nolan Weiler. Defensive Player of the Year, led our team in steals, quickest guard in the conference, understood what we expected from him, never said a word, never complained, which kind of the whole team this year. Wanted to get better. Wish I had him for another year as well. Another senior, Casey Kohler. Finally, our most valuable player led our team in scoring, averaging just under 14 points a game, 6 rebounds a game. He was unanimous first team all-conference. I'm lucky to have him back next year and expect even bigger things of him. Our most valuable player goes to Michael Rozier. Like I said, we got a good nucleus coming back. A lot of kids coming out this year. I think about 27 to 31 kids have shown up for meetings, which makes me really excited. I need to thank Coach Reynolds for all his help as well. And basketball camp's just right around the corner, guys. See you in a couple weeks, and that's it for me. Miss Holman, you're up next.
Probably our toughest opponent this past season was the weather. We spent 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of practice in school. We watched golf tapes. They kind of got a little boring to them. We went over rules after rules, and they still don't know all of them. We watched, and thanks to Coach Fisher for allowing us to fit in some gym time just to hit practice balls. This team was a good mix this year. It was fun. They all seemed to enjoy each other's company, and they had this silly little game on the bus that they slapped each other around. And I really don't want to know. The team was a good mix, and I know that it was fun, and I believe the golfers, it was fun for me, and that was a big thing. And they made it fun. And as I tell the golfers, it's a game. You go out and you play. You know, when you don't win or lose golf, you just play. Okay, the Valle golf team, my seniors this year and letter winners, Nick Troutman, who has played 4 years, and as I said last night, senior banquet, Charlie Brown, who is Nolan Weiler. He had his baseball cap on from his freshman year. The brim went up, and he just looked like Charlie Brown. They were both a treat to have around, and they do enjoy the game. Our one junior is a third-year participant, Zach Ferguson. We have several sophomores who lettered this year. Our second-year letter winner, returning sophomore, is Kellen Bader. Kellen also won a medal in one of our matches this year, and he did something with his equipment. He went from 2 wheels to 3 wheels this year. Second-year player is Zach Ogle, who is also a varsity letter winner. Sophomore Alicia Keeling is her first year with golf, and I think as she went on, she did very well. She wanted to do well. She really enjoyed the game, and I think she enjoyed, playing with all the other different players that I have. She did have a malfunction, though. She had new clubs, brand new clubs, and probably didn't hit her driver more than 2 or 3 times as that much. And she hit the ball, but I believe the head of the driver went further than the ball. Okay, our freshman letter winner is Cory Dunsey. He played number 2 all year, and I believe he had butterflies and nervous stomach and anything else that you want to say each time he played. Oh, and one day getting off the bus, he picked up a new sport, chasing geese. I got off the bus and tried to save the goose. Next, we have Casey Klump and Nick Jokeris. They were up and down all season, along with Zach was a little bit too, meaning they played varsity, they played JV, they played varsity, JV. But glad to have them back for 3 more years. Our other freshman was Jeffrey Beauchamp. He is a JV letter winner. And I was impressed with him and his desire to do better. And I think each time he played, he did do a lot better. Thanks for a great season. Thanks to the parents. And I know it was the couple of the mothers who, this is the first time I ever got a card thanking me with a head coach on it. So, and that was a good reminder for me is how much these kids enjoyed the game of golf. And just one quote that I found from Jim Shared: gripping the golf club properly is the key to playing golf effectively. Gripping God's word fully is the key to living life effectively. And that's what it's all about. Thank you. Up is Coach Fisher with girls track.
Since Jake and Jarrett to take care of passing out the awards here for the track letter winners. And once again, we'll go ahead and announce letter winners. And after I do that, then I'll mention a few special things about this season, because this was a very special season in track. First of all, JV letter winners. And if you could sort of stay in the order that they're on the sheet, that's the order that the forms are. And Jake said that it would be much easier for him if we did it that way. So here we are, JV letter winners: Liz Klump, Kelly Brown, Erica Giesler, Lindsay Marshall, Kayla Meyer, and Haley Reynolds. And then we also have some managers. And these girls went to meets. They didn't all go to all of the meets, but between the 5 managers, we could always count on having at least 2 or 3 at every meet. And they did a terrific job. In fact, at a lot of meets, that if they were shorthanded on timers, if the teams that were running off the meets were shorthanded on timers, they had no problem whatsoever asking if one of our managers could be one of the official timers. That's how much faith they put in these young ladies. Our managers this year were Mary Barr, Abby Berthel, Tony Grass, Randy Keene, and Emily Ringwald. They don't need one of those. They don't need them. And now for our letter winners. We'll start with the freshmen, and it's not unusual to have varsity letter winners at the freshman level in track and field. For our freshmen, we have Elizabeth McClure, Lindsay Orr, Allie Suter, and Kirsten Wolk. Sophomore letter winners: Caitlin Bader, Taylor Biat, Rachel Bruns, Hannah Kenzel, and Lindsay Manchak. Junior letter winners: Kelsey Apt, Megan Bosler, Kelly Herman, and Brittany Klump. And finally, we had 2 seniors, both of whom are letter winners, and they are Marissa Kohler and Rachel Nagger. And we have several special awards that we give. One is to the outstanding freshman, and as I mentioned, it's not all that unusual to have freshmen that not only letter in track and field, but also are very much important contributors to our success. We had several freshmen along those lines this year. There was one freshman who was perceived as being a very, very valuable player, not just because what she did for the team in terms of points, but also because of the attitude she brought to the team. One of the hardest workers that we've seen in a lot of years, and also had a great attitude every day. Our Outstanding Freshman Award this year goes to Miss Kirsten Wolk. Our next award is our Most Valuable Tracker Award, and in some regards, track and field is one of the most difficult sports to coach because it involves needing to know a lot about a lot of different things. You have your long jump that's distinctly different than high jump. You have shot put that's distinctly different than pole vault. You have sprinters that have to be trained differently than your long distance runners. But in other regards, it's really easy to coach track because everything's by the numbers. And so you can look at who scored the most points, who scored points in every event, who made All-State, things like that. And our most valuable tracker this year goes to a young lady who did score points in all of our meets. She was in every meet, including the state track meet, and she is one of our all-state track athletes this year. Our most valuable tracker this year is Miss Rachel Nagger. Our next award is our Outstanding Effort Award, and I'm going to digress a little bit here to talk about effort. And Coach Martin and I were talking about it. We always, when we get to the state track meet, they have a program at the state track meet and lists all of the performances that were done at the sectional meets. So you look at your team, you look at the people you have qualifying, and you try to figure out, okay, how many points can we score and where should everybody place? And you look and we'll look at those and we'll think, oh gosh, we should be able to place in the top 8 in this event or in the top 8 in this event. But lo and behold, when it comes to the day of the meet, those other runners from other teams and throwers and jumpers all seem to have these phenomenal personal best performances. They'll run 20 seconds faster in a 2-mile or 10 seconds faster in a mile, or their 4x2 team will run 3 or 4 seconds faster. And so we're always bemoaning, why is it that our athletes can't seem to suck it up and run really hard at state? Why can't we have these personal best performances like these other teams? Why can't we have that kind of effort? And the reason why we don't see that kind of effort at state isn't that we're not seeing the effort at state, it's that we're seeing it at every other meet all year long. Come rain or shine, come wind or no wind, no matter what the type of weather, these athletes are going out every day trying to do their very, very best. They're never slacking. And so we can't get those phenomenal big performances because we've been making those big performances every track meet all season long. So it's a credit to them. And this particular award goes to an individual that is deemed to have the most or the best effort out of all of these individuals showing that phenomenal effort. Our Outstanding Effort Award this year goes to Miss Kelly Herman. And finally, our last award is our Team Player Award. And the team player is someone, or the team athlete, is someone who is willing to do whatever we need her to do to be successful. And it means maybe sometimes stepping a little bit out of the comfort zone, trying something new that maybe she hadn't tried before. This individual qualified for state in 3 events, but they're not your typical events. It is rare that you will have someone running a leg of the 4x8 and has to worry about a conflict with the shot put event. But that happened this year. She qualified in the 4x8, the shot, and the disc, and ran those consistently, or those events consistently for us all year. And if we were really desperate, we would have her fill in as the anchor leg of our 4x1 throwers relay. Our outstanding, and the team player has to have a sense of humor, by the way. Our outstanding team player this year is Miss Hannah Kenzel. These girls did a great job. We thank the seniors, Marissa and Rachel. It's difficult to do a spring sport, especially track, your senior year. We thank you for staying with it all 4 years, doing a great job. Hope you juniors will do the same next year. And next up we have Coach Nagger.
Okay, as you may or may not know, this is Coach Fisher's last year as being head coach of girls track. And Marissa and I have been lucky enough to have her for all 4 years. And she's been great to us. We've all improved a lot. And so we have something we want to give her. No, it's not pink.
I'll just go ahead and stand up here, Coach. It's all right. I'd like to first thank a few people. I'd like to thank Miss Menard and Father Mosley for giving me the opportunity to be a part of the athletic program here. I'd also like to thank Dan Herman and the athletic club. I'd like to give a special thanks to Coach Fisher. I think she's too modest sometimes in what she actually does, but if it wouldn't be for her, I don't think the boys' success would be as great as it is right now. So thank you, Coach, for everything that you do for me and the boys' track team. I'm going to go ahead and bring my guys up too. JV letter winners this year are Garrett Gatzmeyer, Dylan Kist, Andy Nagger, Danny Roth, Anthony Meyer, Tyler Grindstaff, and Stephen Ringwald. Your JV letters. Varsity letters, Ryan Jokerst, Daniel Bowman, Daniel Cabral. Daniel was a state qualifier in the pole vault this year. Connor Apps. Connor was also a state qualifier in the pole vault this year. Jacob Grass. Jake was a state qualifier in the 3,200 meter run, the 1,600 meter run, and also a member of the 3,200 meter relay team. He made all conference in the 3,200 meter relay team and was all state on the 3,200 meter relay team. For being a freshman, Jake did a fantastic job for our team this year. Thank you, Jake. Brian Kurtz. Brian was a state qualifier in the discus. He was also all-state in the discus. Brian threw very well despite about 2 weeks before district. I put him in high jump, and he actually chipped a bone in his hip. So to come back in 2 weeks, Brian did a pretty good job. Derick Fowler. Derick was a state qualifier in the 400 meter relay team and on the 1,600 meter relay team. Derick was all state on the 1,600 meter relay team. Mark Arnold. Mark, you'll get him next year, buddy. Mitch Friedman. Mitch was a state qualifier in 110 meter hurdles. Garrett Kurtz. Garrett was a state qualifier in the 400 meter relay team and on the 1,600 meter relay team. He was also all state in the 1,600 meter relay team. Evan Miller. Evan Miller was a state qualifier in the triple jump. I think Evan was a little disappointed after state, but I'm sure Evan's going to come back and work just as hard and be better next year. Stephen Bowman. Stephen was a state qualifier in the high jump and on the 3,200 meter relay team and on the 400 meter relay team. He was all conference and all state on the 3,200 meter relay team. Jake Roth. Jake is one of those individuals that I think I pretty much put in just about every event for the last few years, so I consider him kind of like a utility player. I think every team needs one to be successful, so thank you, Jake. And last, Robert Nagger. This is going to take a minute, so. Robert was a state qualifier in a 3,200 meter relay team, on a 1,600 meter relay team, the 1,600 meter run, and the 800 meter run. Robert was all conference in the 800 meter run, the 1,600 meter run, and on a 3,200 meter relay team. He was also all state on a 3,200 meter relay team, 1,600 meter relay team, 800 meter run, and 1,600 meter run. I think it's pretty impressive for a senior to finish his season being a 3-time all-conference and 4-time all-stater. It's going to be very hard to replace a kid like Robert for next season, so thank you, Robert. Jeremy? Sorry, Jeremy, I must have missed you. But I didn't forget you, man. Sorry. And Jeremy Apps. It's pretty hard to forget since he's a state qualifier. Jeremy was a state qualifier on a 3,200 meter relay team. He was also all conference and all state on the 3,200 meter relay team. Sorry, Jeremy. You're pretty important. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do my notes better next time because I missed a couple. And I don't know how. But receiving their JV letter was also Cory Cabral. Sorry, Cory. I guess I was just kind of a little excited to get the Roberts paragraph, so hopefully in the next 4 years I'll be excited to get the yours and Jeremy's paragraph when I give the same speech. So, if I'm not mistaken, Robert is going to continue his education and track career at the University of Valle. So as soon as I get to talk to his coach there, we'll be able to get things rolling for him. So congratulations on that too, Robert. As a season in whole, it was a pretty soggy start to our season, and I don't think the weather ever let up. And I'm going to go ahead and blame Coach Fisher for that. Since she's leaving, I think Mother Nature put a big rain cloud over her, and I happened to be standing next to her most of the time, so I kind of got drug into it. So thank you, Coach, for all the nice, wet, cold weather all year. Yeah, thank you. But as a team in general, we finished second in the Glasstown relays, we finished second at the Rebel relays, and we finished third in the North County JV meet, which gives us a good look on the future for our new coming varsity kids in the future. We also finished first in districts for the second year in a row. Congratulations to you guys for that. And we also had our second highest finish ever at state, which was fifth, so congratulations to you guys for that too. I'd like to congratulate Coach Fisher and the girls track team for their district championship, and to Coach Nagger and to the boys baseball team for their district championship as well. I'd like to thank my guys for the wonderful season that they gave me. It's another year of great memories from you guys. I'm going to miss the two seniors that are leaving. But I think they leave a good legacy in how things are happening and turning around for the Valle track program. It's very hard to go into a district meet with sometimes, I think, with a bullseye on your back, and I think our guys did a very good job of handling themselves and getting the job done. I have a couple extra awards to give out tonight. First one is the most valuable runner. There ain't much I can say about, if you listen, who this is going to be. He pretty much scored in every event, every meet, every day, it didn't matter. I could have put him in the 6,000-mile race, and I think he still would have scored points for us somehow. But the most valuable runner this year is Robert Nagger. The next award I'd give out is the most valuable field events. I think this gentleman did a very good job throughout the entire year. I think maybe he peaked a little early before we got to state, but he managed to score points and meets that sometimes we didn't score any or managed to medal in those meets. So the most valuable field event person in 2008 is Evan Miller. Next award is the hardest worker. This is a pretty difficult for one of me to give out because I think every one of our kids on this team deserve this. But I think this gentleman in himself came out and just did things that most kids don't do. Changes events, does everything. But the 2008 hardest worker is Daniel Bowman. I usually give out a team tracker award, which is generally to an individual who will just go out and do anything at any time. No matter what event I could put them in, they would go out and do their best. But I decided not to give that award this year because there's so many individuals on our track team that would just do anything at any given time for our team, and I have no doubt that I don't think I'd ever been told no by anybody on the team, even Gus, if I told him to run a 2-mile because he's done it before. I think everybody would have done something like that for our team to make us better. So what I did is I went out on my own, because this was the only one the team didn't vote for, is I gave out a most improved award. And for this individual, for changing a couple events this year and coming back and doing a great job, if you'd asked me a year ago if this kid could ever run a 55-400, I'd have said absolutely not, since his first one was about a 71. But the most improved athlete in 2008 boys track is also Daniel Bowman. That's just due to a lot of hard work, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you guys again for your hard work and for the wonderful memories that you gave me throughout this year. I'm going to miss you guys tremendously, and I wish I could say the weight room is going to be open for you guys in a week, but it's not. We got football first. So congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to do these. I got one other thing I want to do. Even though I hate being in front of this thing, everybody knows that, but I do have 2 provisional letters that I want to hand out that I forgot to do because they weren't on my sheet. But there's 2 individuals that had anterior cruciate ligament reconstructive surgeries at the beginning of track season that I have no doubt that would have helped our season throughout the year. And I would like to give these out to Nick Zerwig and Brandon Lamadier, so that way if you continue to come back, you guys will get your varsity letters from this year. So why don't you 2 come on up here real quick. Gimp up here. I'm going to make you get your exercise. It's part of your guys' therapy, so, but I want to see you guys next year so we can get this done right.
Are you finished? Okay. I too wanted to, echo the sentiments from Coach Martin. Congratulations to the boys and girls track teams. I believe it was 15 in a row for you, Coach Fisher. Is that right? 15 in a row for you? All right. But she's had an amazing run. Again, I'd like to thank the athletic club, Coach Beezer, for his knowledge, work ethic, and love of the game. The St. Genevieve Yanks, Dick Greminger, and the city of St. Genevieve for all their help on the field throughout the season. Once again, I'd like to thank Frank Kurtzmer for all of his work and following us on the road. Kurt Roth and Tom Raymer and John Bosler and everyone else who came out to help, dry out left field all throughout the season. Also, Bill and Chris Oberle for helping to feed us on multiple occasions. Also, Clay Stoll for helping to keep score also throughout the season. Also to my assistant coach, Junie Bosler, and also at the beginning of the year, Coach Weiler. I couldn't ask to work with two better people. And again, most of all the parents who helped to raise these great young men. Sometimes it's tough in the spring with the rain, and communication is hard, but I thank you very much for your patience and cooperation. I look back at the 2008 season. It was once again a great success. We beefed up our schedule big time, and we held our own the entire season. We will once again look to do this next year. I'm going to spend the majority of my time this evening discussing the team. Here are some of the team accomplishments for the 2008 season. We had our second consecutive 20-plus win season. We were the only team in the MAAA, large or small, or the Jeffco Conference to make it to the quarterfinals. We played the first ever quarterfinal game at Yanks Field in its 55-year history. We placed a record 6 individuals on the all-conference team and 6 individuals on the all-district team. We finished third in the conference tournament, which I believe was our highest finish ever. And we also finished third in the Farmington Win-Bat tournament. We won our 4th district title in 6 years, which is the most by any team in the area. And we won our 2nd consecutive conference title and have a current 22-game winning streak within the conference. The JV team also had a wonderful year. They finished 10-3. They had a team average of 386 and a 961 fielding percentage. Overall, the program was 31-8. I'll start by introducing my managers. Sophomores Kara Figge, Shelby Pretty, Leanne Marquardt, and Ashley Palmer. Thank you for all your work throughout the season, girls. My JV letter winners, as you come up, I also have your photos, and that reminds me to thank Diane Beezer for helping to get the photos scheduled for us this year. It's one of the extra things that I don't particularly care to do, and I thank her. My JV letter winners are freshman Nolan Ritter, Garrett Cook, Alex Stoll, Wade Roth, Adam Werner, Brett Shue, and Michael Haynes. My sophomore JV letter winners are Jonathan Herman, Davis Gergaitis, and Derek Kohler. My varsity letter winners are freshman Michael Loida, Nolan Carroll, Luke Uding, Andrew Bader, and Zach Weiler. My sophomores, Michael Greminger, first team all-conference, first team all-district outfielder. Nathan Gile, first team all-conference, first team all-district pitcher, first ever underclassman from Valle to make the KTJJ Dream Team in baseball. Jason Bloom, honorable mention all-conference and first team all-district utility player. Aaron Bosler, first team all-conference and first team all-district catcher. And sophomore Christian Moulton. The 2008 seniors are Michael Raymer, Ryan Roth, Casey Kohler, who was first team all-conference, first team all-district infielder, and he plans on continuing his career next year at Maryville. A special thank you to you 3 seniors. Those 3 individuals were were members of the first ever Valle JV team 4 years ago. They've helped to improve the program every year. Their overall record for the last... Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped junior. I went down the sheet. Our juniors, I'm sorry. Juniors, Brandon Wolk. Adam Oberle. And Cole Beezer, who was first team all-conference and first team all-district outfielder. Sorry about that, guys. And back to the seniors. Their overall record for the last 4 years was 78 wins and only 21 losses for an almost 800 winning percentage. So they've been a part of some really good teams and have helped to make those teams really good. To keep with the idea of team, I only have one award for tonight. This is our most improved / hardest worker award. This individual was the hardest worker during the season and in the off season. He was a leader all winter and spring. He has a true love for the game and is an example that success is not an accident and hard work is rewarded. Junior Cole Beezer. To the underclassmen, there's much room for improvement. The future looks bright, but many things must be done along the way. First and foremost, we must make sure that we enjoy the ride. Success must be determined by our growth as baseball players and human beings and not by the results of a season. We must continue to learn the meaning of the team. Being a part of the team is the most rewarding experience in sports. It is only through the team that anyone can find lasting happiness in sports. The memories and lessons that will last you a lifetime are the team memories, not stats or all conference awards. Last but perhaps most important, great teams and championship seasons are not an accident. Getting a college scholarship is not an accident. The only way these things can be realized is through hard work, and the most important and meaningful hard work occurs when there is no one watching and no one is making you perform. Only through this intrinsic motivation can an athlete reach his or her peak, and I challenge all of the members of the 2009 season to do the hard work when no one is watching. Thank you. One last thing to go back to football. I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome Coach Wingert to the football staff for next season. I think he's going to add a whole lot of energy and a whole lot of passion for us.
In recent years, I've had the great privilege of presenting the 3 for 4 awards to the boys and girls who compete in every sports season. Some years it's pretty slim with 1, and other years there's 6, and this year we have 3. Sports start long before the academic year. Obviously, coach is saying, here's football starting, volleyball starts next week, and it begins very early in a year. There's camps all summer, there's weight room all summer. By mid-August begins or maybe a little earlier this year, for the fall sports, and it continues into basketball, into track, into baseball, into golf the following spring season. Our athletes also do more than just sports. They have a 4-year high school education that they commit themselves to. There are decisions outside of sports that they make. They work, they help within the community, they help faculty members and staff members alike. Many hold part-time jobs. And it was kind of interesting, I'm jotting some notes down here just a little bit, listening to all the coaches speak tonight. And it just kind of hit me that when you're talking about a 3 for 4 winner, and it's easy to understand what the coaches said of these 3 competitors this year, that they showed their interest and they showed their desire to compete in every sports season and to do well. We heard some stats that are absolutely phenomenal. So we have one female athlete, and that is Rachel Nagger. have two male athletes, and being around these two, or all three of these individuals for as long as I have in class and out of class, it is also a privilege to announce Ryan Roth and Casey Kohler.
You know, one nice thing about not having a program is that no one knows exactly when you get to go home. So we're going to keep you here a bit longer. One of the things we have next are the Scholar Athlete Awards. And this was always something done by the MAAA, but once the football conference sort of split from the MAAA, they no longer recognized an MAAA Scholar Athlete. But we felt it was really, really valuable to do that, to recognize individuals who do a good job both in the classroom and also compete in athletics. And so anyone participating in a sport or being a manager or a cheerleader for a sport for an entire season is eligible for this award. It's not contingent upon earning a letter. It simply is a matter of participation. You must also have a 3.333 grade point average through the first 3 quarters of this school year. And the following individuals, if you would please come up. We'll start with freshmen. All of these meet the criteria. Andrew Bader, Chris Bowman, Kelly Brown, Nolan Caro, and Miss Menard has a certificate for you. Jillian Ditch, Cory Dunsey, Erica Giesler, Michael Haynes, Nick Joggerst, Dylan Kist, Katie Langeneckert, Michael Loida, Elizabeth McClure, Kayla Meyer, Andrew Nagger, Lindsay Orr, Haley Reynolds, Nolan Ritter, Catherine Schmelsley, Chelsea Sproul, Alex Stoll, Ali Suter, and Kirsten Wolk. These are all of the freshmen Scholar Athletes. And now to them we will add the sophomores. Caitlin Bader, Mary Barr, Daniel Bowman, Abby Berthold, Jason Bloom, Rachel Bruns, Derick Fowler, Kara Figge, Tyler Grindstaff, Jonathan Herman, Alicia Keeling, Derek Kohler, Randy Keene, Hannah Kenzel, Anthony Meyer, Christian Moulton, Zach Ogle, and Jared Troutman. Those are the sophomore Scholar Athletes. And now for the juniors, Megan Bosler, Stephen Bowman, Cole Beezer, Natalie Fowler, Casey Henderson, Kelly Herman, Jessica Meyer, Adam Oberle, Michael Rozier, and Brandon Wolk. Those are the juniors. And finally, for the senior class, Tony Grass, Stephanie Holland, Casey Kohler, Marissa Kohler, Rachel Nagger, Robert Nagger, Michael Raymer, Jacob Roth, Ryan Roth, Morgan Schweigert, Nick Troutman, and Emily Weiler. These are our scholar athletes of 2008. And when all the pictures are finished, you may go ahead and have a seat. Or maybe they just want to stay a while. Years ago, the Missouri State High School Activities Association started a program that honored sportsmanship, and particularly they sent to each schools a couple of certificates, one for a male athlete, one for a female athlete in any of the grades that the coaches decided exhibited exemplary sportsmanship. And they call it the Missouri Good Sport Award. And here's a little blurb on this, and we have 2 awards then this afternoon to give. It says, "Dear Missouri Good Sport, due to your behavior, positive role modeling, and outstanding display of sportsmanship through your participation in interscholastic athletics, you have been selected as the recipient of this award of excellence." And I'll skip a bunch, and it says, "We at the MSHSAA firmly believe that positive role models such as yourself positively influence the actions of others in your school, your teammates, younger students, your opponents, and even spectators. Since few things bring schools and communities together like high school athletics, the actions you display in competition go a long way to influence others' perceptions. By taking the responsible steps in displaying positive sportsmanship, you are helping to rekindle the spirit of citizenship and are serving as a positive representative of your school and community." Our recipients of this Award of Excellence for Sportsmanship are Hannah Kenzel and Brian Kurtz. This evening, and if you're wondering, I was up here writing feverishly a while ago. I had typed all of this, but whenever I left school, I kind of pulled a Miss Menard and didn't bring the papers with me, and so they're actually on my computer back at school, so I had to write everything out real quickly, but no, she can take a joke too. Anyhow, these are the Senior Athlete Awards. You know, they say, you've heard that expression, when it rains it pours. And this phrase usually has sort of negative connotations. But in the case of our female athlete, it's just the opposite. Last night at the senior banquet, this young lady's name was called over and over for awards. For academic awards, for citizenship awards, for service awards. Well, this evening we'll add just one more to that flood of awards that she has already received. Please join me in congratulating an academic all-state volleyball player and an all-state track athlete, Rachel Nagger as a senior female athlete for 2008. Weeks ago, we had a field day, and many of our students participated in a somewhat formal softball game. I was sitting with the teachers, and on one particular play, this young man tagged out a runner, but the runner stayed on base, and the runner really should have been out. But he didn't argue. He didn't throw up his arms in exasperation. He didn't incite the other players with cries of, "She's really out." He simply walked back to his position, and the game continued. That pretty well typifies our male senior athlete's approach to life. He's active in all sports. He's a fierce competitor, in fact, but he understands the value of good sportsmanship. He's an outstanding role model for his teammates as well as for all Valle students. Please join me in recognizing Casey Kohler as a senior male athlete of 2008. We'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. I'd like to reiterate what some of the other coaches have said. Thank you all parents for all that you do for our programs. Thank you especially to the athletic club for sponsoring this banquet. We thank all of the athletes for all of your contributions, especially the seniors. We wish you all well in all of your endeavors. We hope you come back and join us, come back to athletic events. Feel free to come to school anytime and visit. And for anybody that has the time to help out, there'll be somebody here that'll tell us how we're going to fold up tables and what we need to do to get the hall in order for this wedding setup that's coming next. Oh, and Mrs. Hogue reminded me that anybody that's a special award winner, maybe not all of those academic awards, because that would be a really large group, but all the special award winners, if you would hang around a little bit for pictures, we'd really appreciate it. Congratulations, have a nice evening. Thank you very much.